to learn from you your good practices. And we are here, thank you again for the invitation, and happy to show Madrid our solutions and our public transport. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Julieta. Talk about goals. Madrid is really a platinum standard that many agencies strive to. Here in Miami-Dade County, under the direction of Mayor Cava and my director, Ulis Cleckley, we are moving toward electrification. We have 700 buses in our fleet, and about 10% are electric, which is one of the largest public electric fleets in the country. And we are going to be building out a facility just like that with the pantographs by next year to operate our brand new bus rapid transit system in South Dade along the transitway. So I've taken a lot of notes. I'm going to be coming back to you for some questions here shortly. And we have some great partners here in Miami-Dade County. We can't do it alone. And one of our great partners is the City Beautiful, Coral Gables. They have micromobility and bus fleets within their cities that dovetail with our system. And joining us today is their CIO, Raimundo Rodulfo. Raimundo, please take the floor.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Juan. So we work closely together with the Public Works Department and the Mobility Services, Police Department, and other partners in our city, leveraging innovation and technology to improve public transportation, improve mobility and quality of life, which is one of the key issues. So we are located in the center of Miami-Dade County. We are the home of the University of Miami and of a vibrant downtown with more than 140 multinational corporate headquarters and more than 20 international consulate offices and trade offices, including Spain too. And we have a lot of traffic for that reason. So our sensors tell us that weekly we have approximately 1 million cars to commute through Coral Gables. Approximately 20% come to Coral Gables, to the university or to the business districts. And the other 80% is the commuters that are going through our major arteries, US 1, Bear Road, 8th Street, Red Road, etc. So they are our customers too. So we have to provide infrastructure, safety, and all the data and analytics that is necessary for visibility. So from an infrastructure, from a technology infrastructure standpoint, like 10 years ago, we started building capacity. Capacity was a broadband infrastructure. So we started building our private underground fiber optic network with so far 24 fiber corridors throughout the city. And we are building 22 more now. And with redundancy, because we are in a zone that is prone to natural disasters like hurricanes and like flooding. So we have backup networks, private wireless point-to-point and point-to-multipoint gigabit networks. They backhaul, for example, our public Wi-Fi networks that is used for transportation too. And it provides that capacity for mobility zones, for mobility corridors, transportation corridors, and also economic zones throughout the city, also for public safety reasons. So we started building that network like 10 years ago. At the same time, we started building a cyber-physical infrastructure of sensors, including traffic sensors, multimodal traffic sensors that are counting pedestrians, are counting vehicles, now also counting other types of multimodal transportation like micromobility or bicycles, etc. And also a public safety IoT infrastructure with CCTV cameras that become optical sensors via computer vision and artificial intelligence. And also other kinds of sensors like environmental sensors, air quality sensors, that is very important to measure also the impact of electrification and decarbonization throughout the city. Policies. And at the same time, our partners, the Mobility and Public Works Department, has been working on decarbonization and electrification of the fleet. So far, the city has more than 12% of the municipal fleet is electric vehicles and more than 70 EVs throughout the city. And we have worked in a public-private partnership, deploying more than 40 EV charging stations throughout the city. And there's a project now to build 100 more throughout the next years. So as part of the sustainability master plan of the city that we work together, innovation, technology, sustainability, and mobility together. So some of the strategies have to do with getting millions of data points from all those traffic sensors throughout the city, We aggregate that data in our urban analytics platforms. So using computer vision, AI, and other technologies like LiDAR too, we aggregate all that data. We bring that data to the Community Intelligence Center, which is a control center where we use that data for actionable insight, for traffic engineers to design better intersections, better crosswalks using that data and those patterns. Also for first responders and public safety officers and urban planners, very important, so they can analyze those trends throughout the year. So we democratize the access to that data through our smart city platforms. So we have engineered our smart city hub, for example, that presents all that data to the public and the stakeholders. When you have a chance, visit it. It's coralgables.com/smartcityhub. Also our digital twin, where we present that in a 3D version, so you can do a navigation throughout the city and the mobility corridors and get data from sensors and use it to simulate scenarios. For example, what's going to happen in 2026 during the World Cup? How we expect traffic to increase throughout that avenue that goes, Lejeune Road that goes to the airport. And we have the headquarters of FIFA now for the Americas in Coral Gables. So those scenarios have to be simulated in that environment. And also our urban analytics AI platform that massages that data and presents the dashboards to the public. So basically that's the strategy, working together with all these other departments and with the public and with research institutions also, that maybe I can talk later about our R&D project with the Department of Energy to connect the intelligent traffic signals with the vehicles.
Thank you so much, Raimundo. We got a taste of traffic this weekend with F1 and the coordination that we're going to need for the World Cup coming up. And you forgot to mention our favorite project with Coral Gables, and that's the Underline. The Underline, once completed, is going to be the longest linear park in the nation. It runs for about 12 miles from the Brickell area all the way south to Dadeland underneath our Metro Rail Guideway, with important amenities and safety features for pedestrians and cyclists as well. And that's a really cool project, and it runs right through the heart of Coral Gables. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later if we have time. And finally, I'd like Mr. Benjamin Limmer, Chief Public of Transportation from Connecticut DOT, to say some words. Mr. Limmer?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I love the overview of all of your efforts in Spain. I am thrilled anytime I can charge 10 buses at a time, so charging 200. I don't really believe it, but it sounds like a field trip is in my very near future. Yeah, because Connecticut has very ambitious goals as well to decarbonize our public transportation fleet. So a little bit about me, I oversee transit throughout the state. The DOT plays a very hands-on role in providing public transportation services. We provide about 80% of the bus services ourselves, and then we manage 3 commuter rail lines throughout the state, the most popular one being the New Haven line, which connects New Haven, Connecticut with Grand Central. So a few things that we're working on. First, we last year finished off a strategic plan that's actually solely focused on enhancing the overall experience for customers. It's called the CX Action Plan, and shameless plug, I'll talk a lot more about it this afternoon in the transit session. I think it's at about 2:30, 2:45, so please come. I work for the state agency, so I report to the governor's office, and the number one priority is to speed up trains in and out of New York City, by far. So as a result, we have a very aggressive plan to not only enhance the reliability of service today, but also expand rail service options, not only in and out of Grand Central, but those of you who are familiar with the city, the new Penn Station access as well. So 2 points within Manhattan for Connecticut residents. In order to do that, we are investing, we have 1 order under contract to buy 60 modernized rail cars with a couple of options. So we're certainly looking to change that overall car for the customers throughout the state. But also, the Northeast Corridor is aging. So we have lots of 100-year-old bridges. We have 4 large ones. So a big part of our capital program is, of course, investing in those bridges. We have 1 under construction and a couple funding commitments for 2 more, and we're working on the 4th one. Now, I say all this to say that in transit, it seems like the primary measure of whether or not you're successful is your ridership. How many riders do you serve? How many customers do you serve? Where are they going? And we honestly, as in transportation field, seem to be hyper focused on how many people can we serve. Of course, the pandemic had a huge impact in how people were traveling, what they were traveling for, when they were traveling, the frequency of when they were traveling. And so now here we are, 4 years later, still talking about how do we get back to pre-pandemic levels. And that seems to be the measure of success that we are all chasing. I speak in percentage of where we were 5 years ago, and I'm not really that type of person, to chase a goal that we had 5 years back. So, just a question or a thought I'd like to pose for the group is, what should our measure of success be in the future? Since people are not traveling Monday through Friday, leave at 7, home at 5 or 6 type thing. How should we measure our success in the future? That had a lot to do with us doing the customer plan, the strategic plan. Should we think about things more and how satisfied our customers are? What are they looking for with the future of public transportation? And it doesn't have to be just buses and trains. I also oversee all of the non-highway and bridge transportation forms throughout the state as well. So it's a question that I pose to my leadership team often, to help get them thinking about a new way to not only set goals, but what type of specific mobility outcomes are we really looking to end up at. So with that, that's all I had.
Thank you so much, Benjamin, and thanks for your candor. Issues that all of us face in transportation. I've been down in South Florida for 50 years, but I'm from New York originally, and Connecticut does a great job in their mobility and transportation. I can say that firsthand. And what a way to kick off CoMotion. We have a global city perspective, which leads the way in many different areas. We then have a state perspective, and then we have a mid-sized city perspective, the city of Coral Gables, that gets it right. So we have a great panel up here. We're very blessed here in South Florida. Right now, our system is about 119% recovered from pre-pandemic levels across all our modes. Our bus system really roared back with ridership, and rail is just about there. But we understand the challenges that many cities are facing nationally, and we share in those concerns and how to be even more innovative. I think a barometer that we use as well for measurement beyond ridership is a customer experience. It's no longer about customer service. It is the customer experience. It's about seamless fare collection. It's about the amenities. It's about where the system can take you, and that's something that we're looking more and more at. But I wanted to open it up to the audience. You have a great opportunity here with some wonderful panelists, so we'd like to open the floor for questions. Anyone? I know this isn't a shy group. I think there's a cafecito back there. I see my director, Ulyss Cleckley, is joining us as well. Any questions? Because I have a couple. Young lady?
So I have a question for Julieta. You mentioned that in one of your slides I saw that the fleet that you have both CNG and electric. Do you have any vision or goals in terms of whether it's thank you. Whether there is an advantage to diversifying the technology that you have, or given your experience with electric, is that where you see the future for Madrid?
Thank you. First of all, this is a cascade or a strategic cascade of decisions. The first idea is to remove not clean fleet, and after that, well, we did a huge effort for the gas, and now the electrification. The hydrogen, that it's a pilot, we have 10 buses. It's so expensive so far. So it's difficult to manage and, well, to choose what is the better solution. What we are working on now is in this electrification, also aligned with the commitment on the European Union. In fact, I don't know if you have here this kind of funds. I realize that you have the raise, the name is raise, something like that. Here we have in Europe the next generation funds helping to recover after COVID. Transport, it's one of the sectors that suffer the more. And it's a lot of specific funds helping to do this electrification. So when you receive and when you have the possibility to do this transition, as a company, knowing that it's a good option for us, the best, the electrification with this infrastructure, adding the inverted pantograph, and with the add of the European Union as a common goal, I think for Madrid it's the best option, no doubt.
Thank you. We had a question over here.
Yeah, as we, Darren Milet with Tolosa Network, as we move away from traffic signals that are set with timers and move to intelligent traffic signal technology, where are you in thinking about that? What are the challenges? Because obviously that's a great way to reduce carbon and increase traffic efficiency in cities.
Yeah, I can certainly start. So we do have a couple of major corridors throughout the state that we're looking at alternative traffic signal technology. You know, selfishly, I want the buses to have a much nicer ride, but of course all of the private automobiles as well. There's one corridor in particular, it's US Route 1. It generally parallels 95, just around Greenwich and Stanford. And that the biggest challenge, honestly, is coordinating, even on the state agency, it's coordinating amongst all of the local jurisdictions to get them on the same page, singing from the same hymn sheet, as I like to say, as far as what the future vision should be for investing in new technologies in order to improve overall transportation operations. It's definitely, you know, that's why we rely on people like this so much, is just help us with all of the external communication, just being able to articulate what the benefits are, upfront cost, sure, but what the overall vision is for mobility. It sounds, you know, it's not necessarily the most technical issue, but it's certainly a challenge nonetheless.
Raimundo?
So for connected mobility and transportation, I can talk about 3 phases. So we started like 10 years ago by connecting the fleet, the transportation fleet. So we have the trolley system that today has been expanded and has over 1 million riders a year. And we connected the fleet of the trolleys and put in vehicle technology with Wi-Fi, GPS tracking, and mobile apps that the riders, the citizens can use to track the ETA of the trolleys or scan a QR code in our trolley stops, for example. Then the next phase was connecting that system to the county. So we worked together with Miami-Dade County using a standardized protocol to connect our transit system with the county's transit system. It's called GTFS RT. So we work together and the county helped us to connect our Gables mobile apps for the trolley with the county's transit system. And at the same time with Google Maps, so you can plan your commute through the county, and you will see the city's trolley in real time, and you know how to plan that commute. And the third level now of connectivity, of intelligent connected infrastructure, moving to that future of V2X, so vehicle to everything, and in that, or V2E. In that case, we are working now on research with the Department of Energy. We got a grant from the Advanced Research Project Agency of the Department of Energy, working with the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. So we have a 3-year research project. We are in the 2nd year now. Basically, we are building that small-scale intelligent network that connects the vehicle with the traffic signal. And we have intelligent traffic signals now, next generation of traffic signals, that they are able to modify the signal phase and timing. Basically, the green, yellow, red colors of the light, based on advanced artificial intelligence models. And they are controlled by supercomputers with the Department of Energy and our industry partners like Siemens, Unix, and others, who are also working with the county. So that, we are in the 2nd year of that. We are approaching field testing. Basically, we are going to improve the idle time at the intersections. And we are going to start with 3 corridors in Coral Gables. If you know Coral Gables, Miracle Mile, Ponce de Leon, and Alhambra Circle. Basically commercial, pedestrian, and financial corridors in Coral Gables. And we are going to start seeing how we can have gains in energy use, and also gains in carbon emissions, and gains in traffic flow. Basically, it's connecting the connected vehicles, the connected cars, with advanced control systems that use differential or predictive control for traffic, and those supercomputers that are going to help us to use AI to improve traffic. So you are not the only person waiting for the red light to change at an intersection.
I wish all our cities were like that, so articulate and so helpful. We're making a huge investment in the same issue here in Miami-Dade County with an advanced traffic management system. It's a large investment, which is not going to necessarily only address the reliability and efficiency of traffic, but really the safety. That's the crux of it. Having the preemption capabilities for public safety vehicles and pedestrians, and really unifying all of our traffic management system, even with street illumination, to make for a smart system. And it's an investment in the future that's happening right now here in Miami-Dade County and its cities across the globe. I don't know if in Madrid they have an advanced traffic signalization system. I would imagine they do, since you guys are so far ahead on many areas. But a wonderful question. Thanks so much for that. Yes, sir.
My name is Thibaut Cassan. I'm the founder of Vianova. So we're a data analytics platform. And you talk about connected vehicle data. I'm interested to hear your thoughts and your experience on the use of that for safety, and specifically like near misses information. But also like now we know that connected vehicle can actually get and collect hazard events, similarly to Waze for cities that can actually collect a lot of hazard events and crowdsourced. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the safety side, whether it's on the planning or real time for the first responders that you mentioned. Thank you.
So traffic safety, of course, has been a big component with that Vision Zero goal that we all have. So when we started deploying these networks of our physical systems, police safety was one of the main drivers. We started with CCTV and ALPR sensors, speed sensors, red light cameras. But at the same time, that technology helped us to improve traffic too. So it was used also for traffic engineering. But it started with a focus on public safety. So using this technology, just to give you an example, when we started implementing hyper automation and connectivity and predictive analytics, the police department was able to reduce traffic accidents more than 20%, and crime also more than 20%, working together with all the other departments. Why? Because of the data insight and analytics that came from all those sensors and all that data. For example, our new AI-powered smart city poles that we have that are modular, they have a lot of edge analytics for safety. So most of the calculations that they do are regarding safety. So how we can measure traffic and provide insight to better design the intersection, but also to detect events related to safety. This new technology we are deploying to connect the intelligent traffic lights with cars has a major component of getting the basic safety messages from the car. So that BSM information that those new generation cars are going to provide to the network. So the goal is not only to improve traffic flow and reduce carbon emissions and optimize energy use, and it's also to prevent crashes, prevent accidents. You talk about Waze. So in 2018, we signed an MOU with Alphabet and with Waze to ingest the data from all the app users of Waze in the county and our city. And we signed that MOU. It's called Waze Connected Citizens Program. So we are ingesting that data into our digital twin. So if you visit our digital twin, gables.com/digital twin, you will find a component that also gets crowdsourced data from systems like Spectus.ai, Waze, and other systems. Basically, we are ingesting data that is available in the marketplace, in the data marketplace, data that can also be used for safety to detect accidents and crashes. So safety is maybe the main driver that took us to improve traffic as well.
And from a safety perspective, Coral Gables is a pioneer in plate reading technology as well, where you really know who's in the city, and you've increased public safety as a result on that. I know some people bring up the privacy issue, but that's an internal information source, and you guys have really improved public safety in Coral Gables. I believe we have time for one more question in the back.
Yeah, Cairo Kangas with Key Biscayne. My question is for Raimundo. If I'm correct, you mentioned that the city also measures pedestrians, and if that's the case, can you expand on that? What kind of technology do you use for that? Where is it located? What kind of data do you gather? And any insight that you've gathered so far?
So it's volume, basically, traffic volume, and it looks like a heat map. It's anonymous data, and basically what the city uses that is for safety and also to measure traffic volumes and emergency management. For example, when we have an activation for a hurricane, that data also help us to measure the pedestrian traffic in the evacuation zones or the evacuation areas. And so that data has multiple use. That data is available to the public. If you go to coracable.com/smart city hub and go to the Internet of Things section, you will see pedestrian traffic in real time that you can get from any of those sensors. Those have open APIs, so there's also a economic growth drive that is related to that, because that data also informs small businesses, informs visitors, and can be used for many other things. So basically, indirectly, you can monetize that data by driving entrepreneurship and by having those open APIs that benefit from pedestrian traffic. It was very useful during the pandemic, for example, also to measure the effectiveness of the policies and the lockdowns and the reopenings, and also to help the small businesses that were affected economically by the pandemic. They use that data also to improve their bottom line.
Thank you so much, audience. Great questions. We have less than 4 minutes left. We can stick around afterwards and answer some questions, but we have another session coming up. So in lightning round fashion, I used to work in radio. We called it lightning round, in about 45 seconds each. I'd like each of us to impart some wisdom here as we close this event. And let's begin with Benjamin this time, then we'll go to Raimundo, and we'll finish with Julieta. Benjamin?
Wisdom, huh?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I mean, just to further my point about earlier, if our single goal is measuring ridership, and meanwhile I'm investing, $10 to $15 billion in the Northeast Corridor, fast forward 10, 20 years, the question's going to come up. You invested all that money in modernizing the Northeast Corridor to speed up trips in and out of the city, and the ridership is still, 95% of what it was 20 years back. So I know it's like not wisdom necessarily, it's more doom and gloom, but we just have to think of a new way of measuring success.
I can say that all these technologies are tools that will help us to measure the success of the existing programs, optimize and improve those programs, and also get to a future where we are going to leverage the connectivity of all these systems and the riders and the users to continuously improve those programs. But basically, myself, that I just came from Spain and I had the opportunity to drive through Spain and to use the public transportation system, there's a lot that we can learn from those best practices, and there's a lot that we can do to continue collaborating with the county under their leadership to continue improving our public transportation in South Florida.
Okay, and well, in a different point of view, but I want to, well, I think it's important for us as a public sector to lead in and to invest and to know what our responsibility is to transform the cities, but we need also the private companies and we need to work together. I think that it's really important to work public and private sector, sharing experience, sharing knowledge, and building the best cities ever we can live.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause for our panelists. I was speaking so highly about this institution, and Madam President, Madeline Pumariega, just entered the room. She's a thought leader. Talk about people who are leading the way in innovation in the center. So have a wonderful conference with CoMotion. Some of us are going to be here all week. We have 2 flagship conferences taking place right here in Miami-Dade County this week. So enjoy and get the most out of it. Thanks so much.